Connor. Here. Benson. Here. McGonigal. Yeah. Patty. Here. Smith. Here. Doherty. Yeah. Lincoln. Here. Brae. Here.
Lifting, Aberdeen, backtracking me 060, radial 1500 feet. Estimated flight time 1 hour 10 minutes. Souls aboard 21. Endurance 2,400 pounds and negative freight.
They're leaving Brae for the last time. It's goodbye for good. For nearly 800 North Sea Bears, it's the end of the job. The plumbers and pipe fitters, the welders and scaffolders, painters, electricians, labourers, the skilled and the unskilled, an entire army of construction workers paid off on a Friday in mid-July 1983. It's the biggest airlift ever mounted out here, a demanning operation in preparation for first oil on the Brae Alpha platform, planned years in advance and carried out with fine timing by Marathon Oil. These bears have put in 4.5 million man-hours of hard graft to bring this mighty structure to the moment when they can open the tap and bring up the oil from nearly 3 miles below the seabed. They've been part of one of the most exciting adventures of modern times, the completion of Marathon's first North Sea oil development, brought in on time and within budget. $1 million a day have been spent for 2,000 days. For Marathon and its 7 partners, it's the end of payout, the beginning of payoff. For the Bears, it's the last trip. It's goodbye to Brae. This daring enterprise goes back nearly 100 years to the heartlands of mid-America, when structures looked like this, when Marathon began life as the Ohio Oil Company. It was formed in 1887 by several independent producers from northwest Ohio to control what was rapidly becoming a chaotic and overproducing industry. In its first 25 years, it had become the largest producer in the Midwestern states, acquiring properties and constructing a network of pipelines. Then it moved into refining and a period of great expansion and further acquisitions. The biggest asset was a major interest in the vast Yates field in West Texas, which since its discovery in 1926 has produced 1 billion barrels of oil. Today, Yates is still producing 125,000 barrels a day. The old fields in the Midwest are also still producing, as new recovery techniques find ways of squeezing out yet more oil. Today, the Ohio Oil Company has become Marathon, an international producer and refiner of oil with a network of retail outlets in the Midwestern and southeastern USA. But the corporate offices are still located where it all began, in Findlay, Ohio. A long way from Ohio, a very different scene was unfolding. Enormous reserves of oil had been found in the North Sea, and the world's oil companies were turning their attention to the biggest challenge the industry had ever faced. The discovery of one field led to another, and a string of production platforms began to appear. By 1975, many fields were known, and some were starting to produce. In that same year, an exploration company called Pan Ocean discovered Brae. 3 appraisal wells in Block 16-7, 155 miles northeast of the Scottish mainland, indicated that Pan Ocean had hit the jackpot. Brae seemed as big as anything yet discovered in the North Sea. Pan Ocean didn't have the resources to develop such a discovery, but Marathon was ready, willing and able, with a president, Harold Hoopman, who was keen to bring his company to the North Sea.
We'd been a little bit slow in taking on prospective exploration acreage in the overseas area, and this gave us an opportunity to do a relatively quick catch-up job.
So Marathon bought Pan Ocean, and with it, a big stake in the North Sea. But when they got down with the drill, what had promised to be a massive find began to seem rather different. Bill Kinney, heading Marathon's UK-based development of Brae, was in on the uncertainty.
Under our leadership, we drilled wells 4, 5, 6, and 7, which were as dry can be. So there were some very bleak and dark moments in our early days with Brae, until we drilled well number 8, which found the South Brae complex.
The critical boundary is this one here.
Brae was certainly a tough one. Its reservoir, 2.5 miles below the seabed, is the deepest in the North Sea. It's faulted and fragmented, its oil highly corrosive, and what's more, elusive.
We're around 13.5 or so?
Correct.
That's way up here.
A full program of delineation drilling gave a better understanding of the whole concession, and this led to the development of Brae, not as one, but as perhaps 5 separate fields.
Marathon and partners will be busily involved in Brae for many, many, many years, well beyond the turn of the century. You know, at the moment, we're seeing, in a way, a bit of the tip of the iceberg.
The development plan called for the first production platform to be located near Well 8, a massive structure large enough to handle the most complicated process systems ever installed offshore. Joining Marathon in this venture was a group of co-venturers, some of whom had been involved with Pan Ocean in discovering Brae, an international consortium of American, British, Canadian and Norwegian companies, each bringing its special know-how and experience to the project.
We approached the development of Brae by bringing in a staff of the best technical people we had in Marathon from all over Marathon. We then added local personnel who had participated in earlier North Sea projects, and then finally supplemented this with special contractors providing the needed skills to round out our project management team. As a consequence, we had Marathon management in all phases of the project.
The man Bill Kinney chose to join him in directing the development of the Brae field was Corky Frank. He'd worked on projects in Alaska and the Gulf of Mexico and drilled wildcat wells in Ireland and Indonesia.
We wanted to have the ability to train our own staff to provide mobility and expertise within the company to move on to other projects of the same nature, whether they be here in the North Sea or the Gulf of Mexico or anywhere in the world.
So a project team between 800 and 900 strong swung into action. The schedule called for installation in mid-82 and first oil by mid-83. It was a very tight schedule.
What's the secondary critical path on here?
The first priority was planning. Planning for design, fabrication and installation. Planning for the arrival of the bears for hookup.
You've got a member which comes down through there.
That would be individually.
There followed 12 months of concentrated effort, converting conceptual engineering into working drawings and models.
Vessels, and they're all jumping up and down. I think it's a good move. And certainly saved on pipework and also access at the top of these separators.